What is going on, guys? DBG here, and in this video we are going to be doing another episode of the series where I rate your guys' squads. So again, in this video I picked 10 of them at random, and if you guys want to be featured in one of these videos, I'm going to show this right here. There's going to be a different tweet. This is one of the previous ones, but if you guys follow me on Twitter and then also reply to my latest tweet is going to basically be something along the lines of this episode's live. If you want to be in the next episode of the series where I rate your squads, reply below. And also, I'm getting 200 plus replies for every single one of these. I'm picking 10 of them at random. So again, there is not a guarantee that I'm going to rate your squads, but if it can't do any harm. And also, I'm not going to be doing any ones from the DMs or on any other social media platforms. It's just going to be replies to this tweet. But anyway, that's enough talking. Now let's get on to it. So first up is this squad right here from @HoustonMelo on Twitter. 60k to spend, lots of drive and kick, pick and pop with Hawks 2018 plays. Looking to get rid of Kevin Love. So the Hawks 2018 play, I don't think is anywhere near as effective as it used to be. But you seem to have quite a decent squad. I'd say I'd swap Jonathan Isaac to the power forward on the bench and put Chandler Parsons at the 3. I'd say it's probably I'd say probably an 8 out of 10 squad. Not gonna lie, this is a really nice squad, especially for a budget squad. Trying to get rid of Kevin Love. If you do like pick and pop and you don't like Kevin Love's release, because Kevin Love is a great pick and pop player, you can probably go for Vucevic is a really good option there. Same with guys like LaFrance. I wouldn't go as far low as to get like an Aaron Baines because he can't play in the post, but if you want a pick and pop player, I just want to get rid of Kevin Love and make a bit of a profit, I go for Vucevic or LaFrance. Other players that I would consider using, as much as I do like Jonathan Isaac, if you have 50k or if you have 60k to spend and you want to spend that bit of money, just replace Jonathan Isaac with Pascal Siakam, who's just a much better version of him. Because your 3-point guards are good. You've got plenty of range extended players. DeAndre Hunter is good. Mira-san is great as a kind of third choice center. I'm trying to think. Instead of the Ruby Kobe White, I know it's probably a bit of unnecessary MT, but I would spend the 3 or 4k MT to get the Sapphire Kobe White, who's just a much better card. I know obviously he's a lower tier, he's got much better tendencies, and he's got no steady shooter badge, which is really important. So while the Ruby is good, and if you want to use him, fine. If you don't want to waste that 3 or 4k MT, but if you are looking to spend money, it wouldn't be a bad shout to go for Sapphire Kobe White. So this is Valor. I have 126k. Do you think I need D-Rose for qualifiers, or can he be fine without him? Let's be real. If you guys don't know who Valor is, he is one of the 6 or 7 at worst best players in the world at my team. And Valor, I'm gonna rate this squad, let's be real, probably 9.5 out of 10. I'm not the biggest fan, or 9 out of 10. I'm not the biggest fan of John Havlicek. So I don't know. I don't really feel like I'm in a position to question Valor, but Havlicek is a bit of a weird choice. Ibaka's good. Mikan's good. X-Man's really good. I would suggest putting in a third point guard though, because I know obviously people run a 10-man rotation, but a lot of times point guards do get tired quick. So not the worst idea in the world to add a third point guard, but D-Rose is also basically Baron Davis 2.0. So if you prefer Baron Davis to Stockton, I would say go and pick up a D-Rose or try to see if you can save up enough MT to get D-Rose. If you're good with Stockton as your secondary ball handler or as your backup point guard, then probably not worth it. There's no point using Derrick Rose as a third point guard. But again, if you do prefer Baron Davis, I'd say get D-Rose. He's definitely worth it in that case because he's basically Baron Davis 2.0. But yeah, I'm in no real position to question the choices made by Valor, to be honest. NBA hot takes on Twitter, or Heat Zone. Updated squad, 2018 book still works. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Maybe like the play still physically works. Like you can still call it. It doesn't. It's not the same. It's It's 4 out 1 inactive. They've patched it and turned into that. Should you sell Steve Smith and get Carmelo, or would I be tying in too much MT? You're not tying in MT on Melo, really. I would sell Steve Smith, though, because he is very expensive for what he is. Because he is just a spot-up shooter. Straight up. And you can get guys that do a similar job to him for 1/10 of the price. So, like, is Steve Smith really that much better than putting in, like, Evan Fournier? Rip Hamilton as well. I'm not a fan at all of that card. Not gonna lie. I'd say I'd give this, if this was me, for the amount of MT used, I'd give this team a 6.5 out of 10. I don't know, you do you, but I'm not a fan of Pau Gasol. I hate John Kemp. The bench lineup is not bad. Gilbert Arenas is good. Luka Doncic, you're fine at the point guard position with Doncic, Kuzi, and Arenas. At the 2, T-Mac is fine, offensively anyway. Gordon Hayward, no range extender, not the best jump shot, not the best going to the basket. Good, but again, he's locked in, so it's not the worst thing in the world having him there. Same with Rip Hamilton, but I would definitely sell Steve Smith, and even if it's just, because like he's 30-40k, you can put in Buddy Hield there at the 3, put in the other Buddy Hield, put in the Amethyst Buddy Hield for Steve Smith, 1/3 of the price and equally as good, if not better. And then also I would definitely get a shooter, a power forward off the bench. There's a lot of choices. I'm trying to think of who to use, but just in case you're struggling with Sean Kemp and you kind of need a shooter. But yeah, an okay squad, I guess. Run the fast break with Giannis, look to score quick points. Collapse on Giannis, I'll kick out to open shooter. Okay, that's good, because you know that if you have Giannis, he's going on the ball. Because if you have Giannis off the ball, he's worthless. But if you have Giannis, if someone's running Giannis on the ball, he's really good. If he's off the ball, he becomes the liability. You run 3-point plays, also utilize quick pick and roll fade. Okay, it's a decent sounding tactic anyway. Your point guard position after Rose is very, very weak. If you have Baron Davis, use him. If not, Isaiah Thomas and Mark Price are just simply not good enough. Like, they are, for a squad like this. The starting 5 is probably a 9 out of 10. If you sorted out the point guard position, this team would be a 9 out of 10 easily. But the problem is that your backup point guard and Isaiah Thomas and Mark Price are just simply not good enough. For a squad like this, they're not good enough. John Wall. John Wall is a perfect player to put into this squad. Not the most expensive, not cheap either, unfortunately, but he would fit in perfectly in this squad. He dominate. The new Phil Chenier, I don't know what price he is. He's probably, if he's anything over 50k, he's too expensive, but I haven't even looked at the market, but he's a really good card as well. But what I would suggest is John Wall for one of those 2-point guards. Maybe Isaiah Thomas, because Mark Price does bring something with his Hall of Fame range extender. And other than that, I'd probably replace Chris Mullin with a power forward / center, because you've got 2 of your last 3 on the. You've only got 2 guys in your team that can play center, and one of them isn't even a center. So just any center that can play power forward, just to make sure you're not kind of screwed if one of your centers gets injured, or if one of your centers is in foul trouble. Okay, 100k worth of players in the AH. Bronze is Heat Check Giannis. Don't really like Heat Check Giannis. He's a lot of a liability. This team right here is probably 6 out of 10 maybe, considering how much MT it's cost. You got Luka and Trae Young locked in, which means that you've got Brandon Ingram not in the squad for some reason. Also, one player you need to have in this squad. Oh, actually, no, you don't. I was about to say you need to have Malcolm Brogdon in the squad, but you don't really with the team you've got here. Actually, I would. Once you get Jamal Crawford to Pink Diamond, that's a lot better, because he can play the point guard position. Michael Red, I don't know. I'd replace Red with Brogdon, and I'd also replace the Heat Check Giannis with Ingram, and then this team would be that little bit better. But yeah, it still leaves a bit to be desired. Not the best squad in the world, but again, it's not absolutely terrible. Like, it's still usable. Like, you're still going to win a fair amount of games, but there are definite downsides to this squad. For one, you've got one player on the entire team that can play defense, and that's McDaniel. But no, if you're looking to purely outscore people, it's not the worst. But again, there are definitely better ways you could have spent that MT rather than locking in Trae Young and Luka Doncic. 100%. There's no question about that. Like, if you didn't have those two guys locked in and you had your, say, 250k, you could build a much better squad than this. Not gonna lie, that was a not great decision. Now we are on to this guy right here. Play shoot guards have 40k for improvement. So Heavenly, Baron Davis, Amari Stoudemire, a decent player. Get Joakim Noah out of the team. Or, I don't know. Depends on how you play. Like, considering this guy has gone 12-0, and he also has got Dwight Howard in there, means that he obviously might like non-shooting centers. I haven't used Joakim Noah this year at all, but just, he can't shoot the mid, can't shoot the three. There's better options. I'd push Amari Stoudemire up to center, and you've got 40k. And I actually really like that bench. You've got two elite players in Bruce Bowen and DeAndre Hunter. You've got one of the best cheap players in the game in Jonathan Isaac running the 4. Even if, like, you've got LaFrance there, who, if you need shooter, you got him. You've got Howard there for rebounds and blocks. Clay is good. Hobie White is a third point guy. It's fine. Derrick Rose, Ruby is fine still to use. Josh Richardson, Pierce are good cards. What I would do is I'd spend almost that 40k on Pascal Siakam. I'd put Siakam at the 4 and run Amare at the 5, and I think that team becomes better defensively. It becomes as good a rebounding team and significantly better offensively than running with that starting 5. But this is not a bad squad here. I'd say initially I thought, oh, not great, but that's probably a solid 8.5 out of 10 that could go up to a 9 out of 10 with that switch. Just a simple switch like that. This is a really good team. Okay, so got no MT to work with. John Wall, Terrence Ross, Luka Doncic. Same as the last guy, like locking in Luka Doncic. As Chris Move would say, that's a noob move. Locking in sets is never worth it until like May, June, let's be real. I like the 3-point guard rotation. You got a lot of decent bigs. You know what? I don't mind the duo of David Robinson and Tim Duncan, because when they're on together, they both become better. I don't like Karl Malone at all. I'm going to say it outright here. I do not like Karl Malone. Kelly Oubre Jr. the power forward, he could be okay. So, also players you have in your lineup. I'm trying to think with players that were locked in. You've got, I'd sell Darrell Armstrong because you've got Malcolm Brogdon locked in, and Brogdon's really good. Not much worse than probably better than Armstrong, but again, that gives you that extra 20k or so MT. You've got Tatum in the squad. I would sell Karl Malone and put Tatum in. Not Tatum, put Ingram in at the power forward position. And it gives you a lot more offense than Karl Malone, and you don't lose too much on defense, especially if it's a guard at the 4. And since you have those guys locked in, you're selling Malone and Darrell Armstrong for about 30k. And I wouldn't advise you to buy anybody else, because that's 30k sets you up for if they do release another batch of players, or if they release another batch of players like they did on Monday, where they released 4 insane cards where you can pick up a cheap diamond. So more so than anything, just use some cards you already have locked in, sell 1 or 2 of the cards that aren't going to be much different than them, like Malone and Armstrong, and just try to get a little bit more MT built up, because having 400 MT is just, that's a risky position to be in, and not somewhere where you should ever let yourself get into. Okay, so now 25k budget, don't have much, don't have a specific playstyle. Okay, this team is like a 5 out of 10, maybe. Actually, I think I'm being, like, no offense, but I think I'm being generous saying that's a 5 out of 10. It's maybe a 3 out of 10. your entire bench is made up of, you have not got a single quick draw player on your bench. Isaiah Thomas is not very good. Earl Monroe's alright. So I'd start from the ground up. Honestly, I'd sell everybody. Sell Earl Monroe, sell Spencer Dinwiddie. Keep Josh Richardson, keep Paul Pierce. Sell everybody else and take a look at some of the DBG videos based on budget squads and build a squad based around those players, because I could spend an entire this is gonna be a 20-minute long video. I could spend 20 minutes changing this team. Earl Monroe's okay. He's okay. But again, for like 10k MT, you can get a 3-point guard rotation for that price. You can get trying to think, for that price, you can get Devontae Graham, you can get one of the Kobe Whites, and I don't know, there's probably is even Fred VanVleet. That's a 3-man point guard rotation for cheaper than that. Spencer Dinwiddie's release is broken. Josh Richardson's really good. Paul Pierce is really good. Them two are fine. Tim Duncan, a little bit undersized, just doesn't do anything well. Isaiah Thomas doesn't shoot the ball well and is small. Walter Davis, stats are good, really slow release. Purvis Short, lob cheese is great, but again, slow release, can't really do much with the ball. Antonio Davis is undersized, can't shoot. Joakim Noah, not particularly tall, can't shoot either. Bobby Jones cannot shoot. Jason Kidd cannot shoot, and Carlos Boozer cannot shoot. This team is, I'd say, even at, again, it's probably even a bit generous giving it a 3 out of 10. But again, you seem to have accumulated somewhat decent amount of MT with all these players. And keep Pierce and Richardson. I'd sell the rest and just keep an eye on my other videos and try to build a team somewhat like that, or at least somewhat with that style. But this team's weak, not gonna lie. I like to shoot a lot of threes. Feel you need a good slasher, better power forward. Budget is around 50k. I agree. So the starting lineup, you don't have anyone that can go to the basket. And for 50k, there is a perfect player to put in there. And his name is Pascal Siakam. Siakam for Kristaps Porzingis. I know Siakam is not the best slasher in the world, but you know what? Siakam can go by people. Siakam is a bit of a mismatch problem and can also take people in the post. He'll free stuff up for the rest of your players, and he can be a focal point of your offense. Trying to think, for 50k, is there anyone better? Probably not. Like small forwards, I don't think there's any really great ones you can use for 50k, unless Terrence Ross is around that price at Diamond, but I don't think so. If you get him, he'd be a great buy, but I think he's that little bit more expensive. The bench, I like the bench. And for as far as budget squads go, look, you can't deny this is a good budget squad. I'd say 8.5 out of 10. I would put a third point guard in the squad instead of TJ Warren. Though I do like TJ Warren, I always like throwing 3 point guards for stamina reasons. Nick Young, Buddy Hield, great players to have. He does go to 3. DeAndre Hunter's locked down. Walton's good there. Yeah, like the only real there's no point in changing too much around in this squad because it's overall a good squad. But let's just say, for argument's sake, just put in Siakam for Kristaps, and I do think that makes quite a bit of a difference, especially defensively for that starting lineup with the Hall of Fame defensive leader. And then what I would do as well, if you are putting Siakam there, because I'm not entirely sure about DeAndre Hunter, he may have defensive leader. If he does have defensive leader, I'm not sure about that. I would swap him with Hedo Turkoglu, so that both your starting lineup and your bench of defensive leader players. But if Hunter doesn't have defensive leader, there's no point. You can discard what I just said. So last up is Laki Laspugna. This dude here, this guy here, may be the best 2K player in the world. Being 100% serious. This guy, there was some like big tournaments and he won the whole thing on Xbox. The reason why you haven't seen him in the 250k is he's from Italy, so he literally can't play in it, but he could be the best player in the world. So 9.5 out of 10 at least. What I would always have is have an alternative for Giannis as one of your last 3 off the bench, because again, if you use Giannis to probably ball handler, that's fine, but the way his teams ran, I don't think he will be using Giannis to probably ball handler. But I always do like to have an alternative for him that can shoot the ball a lot better, just in case, again, you're coming up against a really good player that can abuse Giannis. And there are definitely defenders that can abuse the fact that you have Giannis on the floor. I would also put in another point guard for Magic Johnson. I don't mean like get rid of Magic Johnson. I would put a third point guard at the end of your bench. So you've got small forward and 2 guard covered in Jason Richardson. I'd maybe go power forward and center, one of those last 2 positions off the bench again, just to see if you've covered every position. Actually, no, Blake can play center. You're fine. Just get someone in for that can act as a backup for Giannis if needed, and also a third choice point guard. You got 600k, you don't even need much. I mean, like, if you do like to run your rotations with Baron Davis and Magic Johnson, if you don't like to make subs, just put in someone like Devontae Graham, spend 3k on him, and just for situational play as a specialist might be effective. And then for Giannis, again, if you don't have much MT, or if you don't want to spend much MT, just put in, I've suggested him in half the teams, but Siakam, Paul Pierce would work fine. So many players you can use in that position. Just someone that can shoot the ball and play 2 minutes a game and be effective. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. These are all the squads. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.